From This American Life and WBEZ Chicago, it's Serial, one story told week by week. I'm Sarah Koenig. If you followed this story in the news, they planned this big celebration for him. But last spring, which is why you sometimes hear Mark or something in between, the people handling him, for the most part, didn't speak English. But also the military. Next page, zoom out again, they're in a farmhouse, and so on. And also very, very big. It was filmmaker Mark Bowl and his tape that got me interested in all this. They'd come to us saying, hey, we've been doing all this reporting on the story, and we've also got this tape. And so we began working with them. We don't have anything to do with their movie, but Mark and Page One are our partners for season 2. Bo Bergdahl is currently an active duty soldier, where he's waiting out his legal situation. But he did give us permission to use the taped phone calls with Mark. He wasn't cavorting. Instead, he would create a crisis regarding bad leadership within his unit. And I'm definitely going to get into that. A few thousand people lived there, right near the Pakistan border. A couple of supply roads come together right there. The earth there is this fine, fine dirt. Like other soldiers I talked to, but what was the pit of hell was this large hole they dug. Different from, did you have to burn your shit? Had set up the OP in the first place. Were used as supply routes for Taliban fighters. They were the big threat in Afghanistan. The Afghan National Police had their own little outpost further up the hill there as well. Mostly it was just fruit vendors or farmers or families passing through. And run all the way back to the FOB. And send some of his things back to Idaho. There's a shop run by the locals at the FOB. They call it the Haji shop. But technically, it's not impossible to do it. But he also admits that his plan was part crucible. Bo is supposed to take over from Austin Lanford. He steps down and shakes Bo's little tent. Then Lanford remembers that Bo had a reputation. Instead, he told an Army prosecutor that he felt a, quote, 2 small knives that clip onto his belt, plus a newspaper clipping about a guy who'd set a record for sailing. For water, he'd filled the bladder from his camelback. And he had his compass. He skirts past the Afghan and U.S. posts on top of the hill until finally he's out in open desert. Instead, Bo figures he's just got to clench his jaw and go for it. Bo had heard someplace that the guys who were planting the IEDs were doing it at night. His idea was to make a slight detour, which is a rookie move, next time on Serial. Our website is serialpodcast.org.